Yes, it's working? Right? Yeah, okay, thank you. Are you ready now? I am ready. Okay. I think it happens all the time. So, first of all, I want to introduce myself to you. I am kind of interdisciplinary and innovative and creative thinker. Means I am very open-minded person who embrace every other technologies, anything which is useful for future direction. And also I'm a director of a creative AR and VR hub at Manchester Met University in the UK. And also I am kind of organizing international AR and VR conference every year. And also, especially I am interested in how this kind of fascinating immersive technology can be used for the commercialization or business purpose. How we can really use this technology for our real benefit for our business. And because I am running the research center, we do publish a lot of papers and books, and I'm author of the augmented reality and virtual reality, just published online last week, okay? And, but also I am really value of the human being, harmony between human being and technology is really important for all what I am doing. So I think the goal slow and curvy is more like human being, okay? And I published this book as well. So as you can see, I'm not very tech. Although I am in the forefront of technological development or the research and development, but I am also doing research in the human being and the slowness as well, okay? So Creative AI and VR Hub at MMU is looking at this new technology for the implementation of this tech in the various different industries. Okay? And before I start AR VR, I think this is 5 most kind of impactful global megatrends which shape our future. The first one is demographics shift. So there are lots of changes in demographics and also shift in the economic power, okay? And urbanization and the climate change, resource availability. Those are the important factors. But one of the most powerful trends will be technological advancement, okay? And when it comes to technological advancement, these are the 10 most emerging and powerful technology which will shape our future. So as you can see, the drones, blockchain, and the big data, augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D printing, IoT, and artificial intelligence. Some technologies is more interface technology, like you are able to really experience and more intangible, you can experience it, like AR, VR, and robot, all these. Some technologies are more like office and the back office kind of system. So you're providing all this technology is working okay, right? And so before I start augmented reality, although you know augmented reality, virtual reality, what is the difference? I want to give you a very sharp and short definition of augmented reality and virtual reality. Okay? So virtual reality is computer-generated digital recreation of objects. So everything virtual. Actually, you are experiencing some environment which virtually created. Augmented reality is slightly different because you will have a similar kind of experience, but it's based on the real environment. So any digital information you will get in the real environment, like a Pokemon Go, or that is augmented reality. Okay? If you look at the platform waves for the last 30 years, I think this is what's happening. Like a PC and internet and mobile, okay? Many companies invested in these technologies and all of us use this sort of a platform. But in the future, it will be VR, AR, and MR. That's why we have to focus on these emerging technologies. And if you look at the capital investment of AR, VR. This shows that until 2014, it's a very small investment, but 2015 and 16, and there are lots of big investment. And then there are a little bit of a hiccup, and then they start to invest more money, especially when you look at latest news about Apple actually embedded AR technology in their phone. It means so many people and business will be affected by this AR technology. Samsung, HTC, they actually make the virtual realities more tangible and available. So this is quite interesting investment. And also, although it's a still early stage of the development, we are expecting a huge market, huge revenue will be generated by this technology. Okay? And this technology can be used in many different sectors, like healthcare, engineering, real estate, and military and education. All sorts of different types of industry can get benefit of this technology. So, why we are using AR and VR? I think one of the most important reasons why we are using AR, VR, because they will provide a really immersive experience which have a huge potential. Okay? For example, in terms of learning, in terms of people experience, only 10% of people will remember what they read, okay? And 20% will remember what they hear. So, and also 30% will remember what they see, and 50% will remember what they see and hear. So, as you can see, read, hear, see, hear means the more we use the sensory, our senses, people have a much better experience. So 70% of what we remember what we discuss. So the more we have in the learning context, people will remember more. But interestingly, 8% people will remember and what they personally experience. So experience is a great kind of way of people have a enhanced learning experience. Okay, but when we see this augmented reality, virtual reality, there are two different kind of angles which business are looking for. The first one is income generation, where this technology can be really get benefit, can we generate the incomes? Another angle is actually cost reduction. It's a more training side. So in reality, it costs too much to train staff in defense and health sector, for example. But using this virtual reality, AR, augmented reality may reduce a lot of costs. So I think those are the two different kind of ways of how this technology being used and consumed. Now, another interesting framework or theoretical framework is Fine and Gilmore's experience economy. I think the previous presentation talked about some experience, and Pine and Gilmore is one of the first kind of academics who developed this experience economy. There are 4 different areas like entertainment, education, aesthetics, and escapism. So all our experiences belong to one of those 4 different areas. Okay? And they said when we have an experience, either real experience or virtual experience, and there are 3 very important factors which will influence our experience. Number 1 is time, and space and matter. So our physical experience will be limited in a time. So now, and space, we are limited here, okay? So it will happen in a particular physical location. That is a limitation. And what you are doing is limited as well. So time, space, and matter is a so important factor in terms of experiencing. But what they said is now this kind of experience based on time, space, and matter can be expanded dramatically by using digital technology. And one of them will be augmented reality and virtual reality, because time can be no time, means using virtual reality, augmented reality, you can go back to 500 years ago. What happened here? And also the space. You can travel to space or certain countries, so you can't really physically travel. Okay? For example, if you think about your patient in a hospital, and you want to have a similar kind of a travel experience or cultural experience as normal person, and then this augmented reality, virtual reality technology can actually enable them to experience that. Okay, so this is a reason why this technology is getting more important, because we value or we invest more time and money for the really good experience. Okay? There are different augmented reality and virtual reality application in different sectors. For example, in tourism, there are cruise and cruise company, they start to use the virtual reality to provide pre-experience. It means they can actually have a look around and feel like, and then it will help to purchase their holiday. And Thomas Cook actually also provided a similar kind of a virtual reality experience. Marriott Hotel, you can experience hotel in Hong Kong before you actually book and buy. And one of the example is Lake District National Park, which I'm going to talk about later. They use this virtual reality for potential visitors to experience outdoor tourism attractions. And Virgin Atlantic is one of the first company who tried Google Glass for serving first-class passengers from New York to London using this augmented reality technology. So they can actually find out who is these passengers and all the information about passengers and students. They can and help and serve the passengers according to the information provided. And also, many amusement parks are using roller coaster VR experience, like in Finland and UK. And also museum in Australia and Disney, Walt Disney in America, they start to use not virtual reality, but augmented reality. And in Japan, their first kind of a hotel who use a robot. So, in front desk, robot will help for people to check in and give information. And also, interestingly, in hotel, using virtual reality, they can provide some simulation program to provide a training for health and safety for the staff who are just starting their work. And also, the kitchen training can be done through the virtual reality. So, this is some kind of a more industry who are looking at entertainment, tourism, event area. But the other sector is manufacturing and health and medical and military and education. This sector is more like a B2C, like how you deal with your customers and have a better experience using this technology. So more focus on the customer experience and also a business model income generation. Whereas the other sectors like manufacturing and health and medical sector, I think training is very expensive. Okay? Especially the Ford provide immersive vehicle entertainment, and also there are lots of VR safety training. Okay? And DHL, they have an inventory management system, okay? And also virtual reality remote maintenance and inspection. This sort of area, VR is very powerful in terms of training. Hospital, VR can provide some pain relief for those young children who are really scared about their operations or virtual reality can reduce the risk or some perceived anxiety or pain, okay? And also, lots of virtual reality application is being used for medical training in the UK, okay? And also soldier training. Think about how expensive it is if you want to train soldiers in real kind of a training site. And also training for the new kind of weapons, okay? So there are two different sectors who are using this technology. One is for the income generation, and another sector is looking at more cost reduction at the moment. So I'm going to provide some of the previous projects we have been doing, okay? And then we'll give you some kind of a insight from the projects. So these are the projects we have been doing for the last 5 years, like Manchester Dublin AR augmented reality project, and we are one of the first who did try the Google Glass augmented reality project in the Manchester Art Gallery, and also Gilbert Himmel Museum and the Manchester Jewish Museum, and we tried the pilot project with Barclays in order to whether augmented reality is really useful for make a payment or purchase. And also we did a Manchester Beacons AR VR projects. So I'm going to give you a short kind of explanation. The Dublin AR project is one of the first projects we have been doing. We're really interested in what are the user requirements. So at the time, 2013, 2012, augmented reality technology was not really available, okay? So what we did was, we took to one of the heritage trails in the Dublin, and we created augmented reality for tourists who can search and scan any buildings and any particular statues, and they can get information. So at the time, our main focus was user requirement. What kind of contents and functions we have to use to develop a really useful augmented reality application, okay? And second project was the Manchester Art Gallery wearable augmented reality. At the time, Google Glass is one of the first kind of a smart glass were released in the market, and we developed the Google Glass application in order to how this wearable, I mean not mobile, wearable augmented reality application could help the art gallery experience. So we used 9 paintings, and people can take a photo of a particular painting, and they could get information about who is the painter, what the other paintings available in the gallery painted by this painter, and also what other paintings available in similar themes. Okay? So it was quite challenging, actually, but interesting projects. And we also have a Gilbert Himmel Museum project in the UNESCO World Heritage in Cornwall in the UK. So we developed a mobile augmented reality and virtual reality project, and also we embraced the idea of 3D printing. So whenever experience and how people can actually make a tangible souvenir, like the souvenir with kind of a minor, but with a 3D printed. It means you experience mining, okay, and then you remember a few things, and then you actually can print 3D printing minor, but with personalized. So we tried a number of different things in this project, and Samsung became kind of one sponsor of all these projects. And then next project is Manchester Jewish Museum project. Is funded by Heritage Lottery Fund, and many school children in Manchester, as part of religious education, they actually visit Manchester Jewish Museum. And there are only two Jewish museums in the UK, one in Manchester, one in London. And 75% of target market is school children, but no technology has been used to help children to have a really good cultural learning experience. So we developed this augmented reality application for children, okay? And especially using gamification idea. And we use a number of different 2D, 3D, and contents. And then after students experience that, we provide a quiz, which means they can actually remember what they experienced, and they can actually check what they remember, what they learned. And interesting thing we found was that some children, they have a half an hour experience first, and then they did some quiz, and they have a score 3 out of 11, and they were really disappointed. And then they decided, I want to go try again to get more information. So that was a really encouraging kind of project, which really interesting project for the Jewish Museum and also for the community. Okay? And this project, and also we're interested in how this, because augmented reality is very easy. You scan and you get information straight away. So how we can use this for the payment? Because eventually business depends on the payment side. Okay? Can you make payment easy? Then you can increase a lot of profit, income generation. Okay? So we tried some pilot study with Barclays in Manchester. So using one of the poster, and the people can scan it, and then they actually, the example of this earthquake in Nepal, and there are lots of campaign about the donations, okay? So we use the one images about the James Bond, okay? They talk about let's help these people, and people can scan the image, and then they can have an option to choose donate, and then it straight go to the Barclays mobile payment solution. So the idea was, normally when people see something and buy something, let's say it takes about 10 different steps, but augmented reality actually can reduce 5 steps. Scan and review and choose and straight go to the payments. So this sort of a kind of idea will be really, really important in the future in retail context or any business context. Okay? And another project we did was Manchester. Manchester was the European City of Science last year. So I think we always used to do some kind of AR project in indoor environment, but we start to look at how city can. Manchester City can use this technology for the better, tourist or residency experience. So last year, there are many key stakeholders in Manchester University company. They get together, and we kind of created this application, which augmented reality contents and virtual reality contents are available. And as you can see, European City of Science, Museum of Science, and Spark, a company based in the UK, they provide a kind of a platform for augmented reality. A number of different companies, universities get together, and we did a project. And Samsung provided all the VR headsets. Okay? So the project is about the combination of AR, VR, and IoT. So AR, VR, technology is available through the sensor. So in certain area in Manchester, if you come closer, then a mobile phone tells you what kind of science information or information about scientists available, and then you can get additional information, either augmented reality in the phone as a form of short film or animation or text. And also, at certain point, they can try virtual reality to look around Manchester City as a science city. Okay? So there are certain different points in Manchester we pick those points and we create both AR, VR contents. It's a still pilot, it was a pilot project, and we actually planning to extend this project, which is really within the city context, in the connected city. AR, VR can be used have a much, much better experience. So we used some couple of, like a Pokemon Go avatar, okay, when we develop these applications, okay? And also, we are doing some couple of current projects, which is Lake District National Park and the Box project. Lake District National Park project is combination of virtual reality and drone. Means virtual reality contents were created using drone. So we took about 360 film using drone over the Lake District National Park. Okay? And it was designed to help to promote Lake District as a national UNESCO World Heritage Site. So last year we did a lot of promotion working with the national park, and they actually got a status, UNESCO World Heritage status last July, which was 2 months ago. It was a fantastic result. Okay? So we use a 360 VR flight experience through Lake District landscape, and use a drone film taking. And about 2,500, 3,000 people have this kind of experience. So a number of different universities and companies were involved in this project. Okay? And these are some snapshots when people try this virtual reality in Lake District, one of the sites in Lake District National Park. So people have this kind of VR experience using Samsung Gear VR. Okay? And the Box project is current project we are doing is €1 million project in Finland, which we want to kind of look at how multisensory means. We use the senses to everybody uses senses: vision, sound, haptic, which is feeling, and the smell and taste. And how this multisensory can be implemented in the mixed reality environment in order to have a much greater and better service experience. Especially this project is funded by Finnish industry. Okay, and we are looking at how like a senses, like a visual and sound, a particular type of music influence of a dining experience, for example, and also smell, how smell can influence our dining experience or restaurant experience. So this is one of the example of dining experience as Box project. It means we have a box. You can create any virtual environment. For example, the people can have this dining experience. Actually, they're having a real food, okay? And it's just a 5-course meal for 1.5 hours. So chef will be cooked. But, the table is a smart table. So table can be changed so people can choose any information or they can get further information. And also this wall, visual information will be provided according to some food consumption. So when they have a kind of an appetizer of some a little bit of vegetables in local farms, and or any appetizer, and the visual will be available according to what they are eating. So we are actually testing this multisensory idea in Finland. So it's ongoing project at the moment. Okay, now and some of the future projects we are going to do is, hang on a second. We just started some smart city project using AR VR with Shanghai University. It's an Institute of Smart City, so we just started this project as well. And also interesting project, especially for VR health training. Means in one hospital in the Lancashire in North England, they invest about £250,000 to develop this virtual training application for patients who have lung problems. So the purpose of this one is, so far NHS, they provide kind of a self-training materials in the form of a CD-ROM, but it's not many people really engaged with this training, and therefore they come to, more people come to GP. It means it's cost for the NHS. So it's virtual training, virtual self-training application can be replaced, can replace the existing self-training program. So if this is some current project at the moment, and if it's really useful, successful, more people engaged, then we plan to implement this VR training application to one hospital to 500 hospitals in the north of England. Okay? And also we just kind of involved in a City Build project. It's one of the smart city project. So in the UK, there are many different cities. They are doing this City Build project, and we are going to involve in the cultural experience. Means people can use a mobile phone, and they can find cultural information. The interesting thing in this project is we're going to collect all the tracking data. Okay? So people download the application and they can get all the information around the city, and we'll get all the tracking data and we'll analyze those data. So from these various different projects, what I found was, I think there are still, although this technology is great potential, but I think there are a lot of business should be engaged. Okay? I think it's still early stage, although there's great potential. Why? Because number one, there are no clear business model. Is it that companies or business, they don't have really competence to whether they invest money and they'll get a return of investment. And sometimes VR content is too expensive, right? So I think we need to create more useful use cases, successful stories, and more people. There are so many businesses can really make a big step using this technology, but they are not taking it at the moment. So I think we need to more work with businesses who need these technologies, and many subject specialists should embed it or embrace these technologies. And when it comes to Industry 4.0, it's quite a big topic at the moment. So everything will be changed. Our life, the way we do business, the way we produce, it will be changed. Okay? And I can see, as I mentioned earlier, there are 10 most powerful technologies at the moment which will shape our future. Will be AI, big data, genetics, robot, and drone, and 3D printing, IoT, and big data. Okay? So I think a lot of things will be happen in the next 4 or 5 years. Okay? And when it comes to the robot, AI, automation, it's going to affect our jobs in the future. So 7.1 million jobs will be lost, and 2.3 million jobs will be created. And also question of ethical issues, how human and robot with artificial intelligence, how we're going to work together. Okay? And more important, there are skills gap. What students are learning in the high school and university, those skills may not really useful in 5 years' time, because the skills required by industry, business is quite maybe different now. Okay? Therefore, there are lots of skills gap. The issue of skills gap will be emerged, and so the question of how university and industry should work together to create a right curriculum for students who have future employees in the industry. So one of the things in Manchester we are doing is a future screen. We started the internet. We're going to start in 3 years later. International Screen School. It is invested by Manchester local business partnership. So about 50 million pounds will be invested, and our university will start to this school with kind of idea of a very, very different types of a curriculum compared to the curriculum we have now. So I think I see the opportunities here, especially when those augmented reality, virtual reality technology can be combined together with other powerful technology. Because AR, VR is interface technology. I think you will have experience once, but will you experience the same thing again and again? No. If you don't have benefit, okay? For example, I talked about health training project. If same information, if people experience, that's not really good. You need a personalized kind of training program. In order to do that, you need artificial intelligence or big data about patients. I know it's challenging, but I think this is a great opportunity. Okay, so museum, gallery can use the AR, VR, and 3D printing, and also the IoT big data can be used for the other theme park, okay, context. And the IoT, AR could be used in heritage or in the city center. And also, artificial intelligence can be worked together with AR, VR for training purpose. Okay? And robot and drone. Robot can control the drone, for example, and the drone can actually scan the warehouse using augmented reality technology. And that can be used for the security for warehouse, for example. So, I mean, what I see, although I started from augmented reality, virtual reality, I really see that there are huge kind of potential synergy impact if those emerging technologies can, if combined together. Okay? But more important thing is a human-centered approach. Human is most important. Is it all those technologies for our human being, or is there for quality of life? I think that's most important. Otherwise, all those technology development will lead us not happy or not very quality of life. It's a more negative side. So when we look at this technology, we really should focus on the human-centered approach and quality of life. Okay? So augmented reality and VR technology and combining with the other emerging techs will transform our future. I think I am very confident about that. But it's still not there. In order to have that kind of real, like immersive, intelligent, and connected experience, I think technology is still not there. But you need a 5G network. We need a much faster, and you need a big data. You need artificial intelligence. But I am confident that this technology will change our future. Okay, and we need to really keep an eye on and open our eyes to this technology and not miss these opportunities for business especially in the era of Industry 4.0. So this is one of the things I am trying to do in Manchester, North England, trying to build the AR, VR community and ecosystem in England. And I actually chairing the International AR and VR conference sponsored by like Samsung or Nostec, Immersive UK, many different industry partners. And this is kind of snapshot of the speakers and the companies we're involved in. And the main focus of this conference is bring those academics and industry together, okay? And then and share the real case study and real use cases and discuss about future of this AR, VR for the real benefit of for our business, okay? I want to give you a short kind of a video about our conference. Is it possible? The purpose of this conference is to bring all academia and industry together and listen what's going on in the AR/VR sector from the leading experts.
We're actually seeing a resurrection of interest in virtual reality from people old and young, not just from industry, but people in schools and other places. And what I see is that there's going to be, I think, an absolute explosion of interest in virtual reality for digital heritage, for education, certainly in the healthcare domain, and also in the defense arena, and a lot of spin-off between what's being done in virtual reality for training in defense coming out into the civilian context.
What we're going to be talking about is how virtual reality can be used in industry, but across innovation, design, through to sales and marketing to redefine the customer experience. The content needs to be relevant to the audience that it's actually addressing, rather than like a one kind of like answer fits everyone.
It's been fantastic. So we're here today to continue our good relationship with Manchester Metropolitan University and tell people a little bit more about what we're working on with VR. What I would hope is that we'll start to see mass adoption, that people will take it out of their living room, take it out of their bedroom and start to experience VR, whether it's with each other or through a much more kind of community-focused event.
We spoke a little bit about the use of HoloLens in education today. We've had a long queue and we've had some great feedback on the device. We've been giving quite a few demos here. It's been quite busy. It's hard to keep the devices charged. So.
We've had a great time here at the conference. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of people here. Everyone's doing lots of different things around all different kinds of realities. I can't predict where we will go.
Right. So it gives some kind of idea. Because what I see is the industry tend to promise too much, and academia is really conservative, okay? And they actually, we need to find the kind of middle way for the real benefit of business. So next year, I am trying to bring all the academias and the industry, those companies, those academics who are doing real application, developing a real application and for the real benefit, and also the government will be joined as well. So today I talked about some what is AR/VR and also what with the potential, and also I gave you some example of my personal, the project we have been doing and